Hey Abhijit, welcome on the show.
Hey, hi, thank you, Vipul.
It's our pleasure. Thank you for accepting our invitation and being in the recruitment industry. I know how important aspects you are covering about the pain points of recruitment industry. So kudos to you. You are doing amazing job and just keep it up. And before we start with the questions from our end, please tell us something more about you to begin with.
Okay, yeah, thanks a lot, Vipul, for this opportunity, and it's always, very, very interesting to, have a chat over such kind of podcast, which, and yours is even more phenomenal because it goes live. This is something which is the bane of, post our whole COVID era, where a whole lot of engagements have gone online, right? And that is where the power of online actually emerged. And the remarkable part was that yes, online did emerge, and a whole lot of functionalities actually moved online, from education to recruitment. Actually, a whole bunch of these activities moved online. But what we realized was that while there was a great transition which happened, and interestingly, in the current phase where post-COVID era, as we call it today, a lot of people wanted to go back to the physical interactions and etc. But today, a very interesting hybrid models have come up. Right, it's a great combination of both physical as well as online. So basically, picking up the best of both the worlds, and making a very, very powerful proposition. So a bit about myself. So before we jump into where I am today, so I did complete my education from Delhi, and from Delhi University, and then IMT Ghaziabad. I did my management. After that, I have worked at places like Times of India, Z Network, and then a company called Netcore. The most interesting part was that during these tenures, I was very, very fortunate, right, from a very young age of early 20s, where I got the opportunity to work with some of the most visionary and phenomenal entrepreneurs, right? So, like at Times of India, I used to work very closely. I interacted a lot with Sunil Jain, who's the chairman of Times of India,
Wow.
and I used to work in his office as well. And then at Z, I was working very closely and directly with Subhash Chandra, who's the founder and chairman of Z. And then at Netcore, a gentleman by the name of Rajesh Jain, who was the founder. And interestingly, Rajesh, just like Subhash Chandra brought the first cable and satellite channels into India, Rajesh was amongst the first ones to bring websites into India in early 90s, right? So I just had the fortune of working with these people very closely and at very early stage in my life, so which actually kind of, formatted my thinking and my vision. And one of the most interesting thing that I learned from all these great entrepreneurs and visionaries was to have a very, very large vision, right? It's not just about these small things, because many a times the vision of the entrepreneur, if it gets too operationalized and you get into too much of nitty gritties and etc., sometimes you miss the big picture, right? So always going after the big picture and ensuring that you never lose sight of the big picture was the important part. So that actually helped me always have a much larger vision. Um, that is how I got trained.
Wow.
Again, interestingly, I thought during that tenure that I would always be a great professional. I enjoyed working with these entrepreneurs. I was, looking at that how I can contribute in building those businesses. And Z also, I joined when Z was just about 3 years old. So growing Z from there onwards, I actually established the global network of Z, and I launched Z in a very, very large number of countries. Um,
Wow.
and that was a phenomenal experience. I mean, taking Z to, let's say, US or whatever, you can't imagine that it was not only a commercial success, but it was also a kind of experience, a very emotional experience as well, because many a times we would announce the launch of Z at some of these country association or Indian associations in US. And when we used to go and announce, there used to be people who used to hug me and tell me that you don't know what you have done for us, because when you bring live television channel from India to their lives in US, right? They suddenly felt so connected with their motherland, and that was the first time ever, because before that they used to feel so detached, and the only way that they could consume Indian content was through VHS tapes. I don't know, many
True,
of the listeners of your podcast today may not be even aware of what a VHS tape was at that point in time. um,
true.
but they felt really emotional. So when I would launch Z in multiple countries across the world, that's the kind of reception that we used to get. So that was a very, very satisfying experience then. And then, of course, at Netcore, we did a lot of work on mobile technology, and etc. And at Netcore is where my passion for technology grew, and the exposure to technology. And really, that's the first time I realized that technology is not something which is kind of a deterrent, but it's actually a great enhancement to your vision, right? And that technology can help you achieve your vision in many ways. And I think something clicked with me, and 2011 is when I launched my first venture. Then 2016 is when I launched my second venture, and 2021 is when I launched my current venture, which is the third venture, and etc. So it's been a very interesting journey, and along the way, been a lot of learning and etc. So I mean, yes, it's been exciting.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. That's a great journey, learning from industry leaders and getting inspired from them, getting nurtured by them. It's a great opportunity, and you are the lucky one to get that exposure. So that's amazing. Audience, you can definitely follow our expert Abhijit on his LinkedIn profile. I've shown it here, and we'll also put in the link in the description of YouTube and LinkedIn as well. So do check it after this session, and you can connect with him. You can follow him for the regular updates. So moving forward, the very 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 first question, as you said, you this is your third venture, and that's an amazing journey. So, Abhijit, what inspired you to create a community focused on helping individuals reach their full potential?
So, yeah, I mean, that's a very interesting question, Vipul, because like I was telling you, that during the COVID era, there was a major shift towards online and digital and etc. And though it offered as a great opportunity, it offered as a great, succession, because at that point in time, because the entire physical interactions had stopped or whatever, so online really came in as a boon. However, which is what I was mentioning initially, that along with it came certain limitations and restrictions, because what we saw was that despite the fact that the online education was growing, so the initial push was through online education, right? We saw that online education can actually be a great problem solver for a large country like India, because if it is not possible for every great institute to actually reach the farthest corners of the country. So how will our children who are in the farthest corner of the country and have a great passion for any subject and any career or whatsoever, how will they get actually the right education for something like that? That is where online education truly helped. That they had access to their mobile devices, they had access to mobile internet, and hence they could actually access a lot of great content. But the biggest challenge actually we saw was during online examinations. And during online examinations, we saw that there were mass malpractices which are happening, and which actually led to the entire effort of the education community and the educators and etc., who were actually putting in so much amount of effort to come up with great online courses and content, and were trying to teach or whatever. All of that would go a waste, because there was tremendous amount of online math practices were happening during the online examinations. So that's where we felt that a great opportunity would go a waste, and hence we started working on that how can we control something like this, and we realized that what is the best way to control something like this is through technology itself, right? And technology can be a great enabler in something like this. So which is where we started working on that if the online examinations which are conducted without a physical invigilator, can technology be used for that whole invigilation process so that any malpractices can be detected, right? So initially there were very very rudimentary kind of proctoring tools which started coming up, but they were very rudimentary, and we felt that those rudimentary proctoring tools are actually not sufficing the entire need for something like what we had started doing. And that is what we adopted, and AI was just coming in at that point in time, and we realized that AI can really really help us. So today we have a product which can actually uh, provide a very very robust monitoring platform which can actually kind of detect not only just physical movements, but we can also detect the emotions and expressions of a guy, because many a times that is actually a bigger giveaway, because there are very smart kids out there and they know how to manage something like this.
True.
But we realized that a combination of physical behavior as well as emotional and expression behavior, and etc., a combination gives us a great insight into what is going wrong, etc. And that is what we have developed, and we can actually now create a very robust, kind of very secure, credible platform where you can take any examination from anywhere, and we can really monitor that. My vision is that one day the core examinations of the country, whether it is a IIT exam, whether it is a UPSC exam, whether it is a medical NEET examination, QET examinations, for that matter, even recruitment examinations, the large railway recruitments and the large body government examinations and etc. People do not have to travel far and wide from the smallest of towns to some big town to come to a center to take an examination, right? They should be able to take the examination from their home itself, right? And that is how the opportunity will reach the right candidate. And that is what is our biggest effort that we want to actually undertake.
Wow, that's
That
great.
one day this opportunity should reach not only education, but even jobs opportunity, recruitment opportunity should reach the farthest corners. So this is something which actually inspired us, and that is what is our real mission that we want to do.
Even competitive exams, and it can
Any
be,
exam.
yeah,
Yes,
sure.
any examination. And interestingly, if you look at physical, there have been many unfortunate instances which you would have heard during NEET examinations, and NTA had to significantly change their patterns and etc. NEET examination went through that. That is, in a physical sort of a scenario where you depend on physical invigilators, there is a lot of human inconsistency which creeps in. But technology can actually be absolutely uniform across everybody, right?
True.
So that brings in consistency, and that brings in the uniformity of opportunity for literally everybody. How unfortunate would it be that an undeserving candidate, because he was able to cheat or manage and etc., got selected, while a deserving candidate, just because he could not cheat or whatever and did not want to cheat and wanted to do a very genuine effort, missed that opportunity. So that is highly unfortunate. Unfortunate for that candidate, unfortunate for the society, unfortunate for the country, right? Because you need the right people at the right places, and etc.
Very true.
So that is where our whole objective is, vision is, what we really want to do.
Great, great. So moving on to the next question, how do you define personal growth and development, and ऐसी कौन सी strategies है जो आप recommend करेंगे which will be helpful to achieve this growth and development, personal growth and development stage?
Excellent. I mean, if I was an HR professional, I would have given you a lot of psychological answers to something like that, right? But I will give you a very practical application to something like this, that how should you define personal growth and development? The biggest thing is that, unfortunately, in our thing, that we actually look at a lot of kids, because they are desperate for good marks, राइट फ्रॉम द वेरी बिगनिंग एंड एक्सेट्रा। तो वो हमेशा कोशिश करते रहते हैं कि कहीं से जरा सा चीट कर लूँ तो मेरे मार्क्स अच्छे आ जाए, राइट।
True.
इधर से थोड़ा सा चीट कर लेता हूँ, अच्छा मैं ये पढ़ के नहीं आया या मैं इसमें वीक हूँ तो यहाँ पे जरा सा चीट कर लिया, ये कर लिया, वो कर लिया, और उसमें वो थोड़ा बेचारा डेस्परेट हो जाता है। मार्क्स का इतना ज़्यादा प्रेशर होता है कि हर स्टेज पे, हमारे हर स्टेज पे मार्क्स का बहुत ज़्यादा प्रेशर होता है, जिसकी
और
वजह
ऐसी
से
ऐसी ऐसी इंस्पिरेशन बहुत इजीली मिल जाती है, लोग मिल
बहुत
जाते हैं
चीज़ें
ऐसी
मिल जाती है,
कि
बहुत
ये
चीज़ें
कर
मिल
ले
जाती
वो कर ले तो
है।
यू नो।
तो उसकी वजह से क्या होता है कि यू समटाइम्स अनफॉर्चुनेटली इवन इफ यू डू नॉट वांट टू, आप जो है ना कई बार वो चीटिंग के दायरे में आ जाते हैं। अब आपको लगता है कि मैंने चीटिंग करके मैंने ये सिस्टम क्रैक कर लिया, राइट, बट दैट इज द बिगेस्ट मिस्टेक दैट यू हैव एक्चुअली एवर मेड। अब आप ये सोचिए कि व्हाट रियली हैपेंस इन अ सिनेरियो लाइक दैट। आपको सपोज है कि यू लव इंग्लिश एज अ सब्जेक्ट, राइट, और आपने इंग्लिश में तो चलो लिखा जो भी लिखा और वटेवर, और आपके आ गए 75 आउट ऑफ 100, राइट। लेकिन आप गए और आपने मैथमेटिक्स में चीटिंग कर दी। आपने किसी तरह चीटिंग कर ली बिकॉज आपका वो वीक सब्जेक्ट है, आपने चीटिंग करी उसमें, और आप उसमें जो है 85% ले आए, 90% ले आए, 95% ले आए, जो भी हो, आप उतने मार्क्स लेकर आ गए। अब आगे जाके जब आपका करियर बनने वाला होता है तो सब कहते हैं आपके तो मार्क्स मैथमेटिक्स में ज़्यादा अच्छे हैं, तो आपको तो मैथमेटिक्स में जाना चाहिए, साइंस में जाना चाहिए, इसमें जाना उसमें जाना चाहिए, और आप उस तरफ फोर्स होते चले जाते हो। उस समय द थिंकिंग एबिलिटी ऑफ योर ओन थिंकिंग एबिलिटी इज वेरी वेरी लिमिटेड, राइट। अब आप चले गए गलत डायरेक्शन में। आपका फेवरेट था इंग्लिश, आप बनना चाहते थे राइटर या कुछ करना चाहते थे, स्क्रिप्ट राइटर बनना चाहते थे, कुछ भी बनना चाहते थे, वट, बट आप चले गए साइंस ले लिया आपने, कहीं पे कॉमर्स ले लिया या कुछ ले लिया जो आपके अब आगे जाके पल्ले नहीं पड़ा। इमेजिन हाउ यू हैव डिस्ट्रॉयड योर लाइफ। कमिंग बैक टू दैट, अगर आपने ये चीटिंग नहीं करी होती तो आपके मैथ्स में आते 60, इंग्लिश में आते 75, और अल्टीमेटली आप रियलाइज करते यार मैं तो इस डायरेक्शन में जाना चाहता हूँ, मेरा लाइफ का पैशन ये है, राइट।
True.
तो आप बहुत अर्ली समझ जाते हैं कि आपका क्या पैशन है, व्हाट इज इट दैट यू लाइक टू डू। आपके पेरेंट्स, आपकी सोसाइटी, एवरीबडी वुड हैव रियलाइज कि यार ही इज बेटर इन दिस रादर देन दैट, राइट। तो इसमें आज की डेट में फॉर्चुनेटली आप कोई भी फील्ड लो, कोई भी सब्जेक्ट लो, हर फील्ड में यू कैन मेक अ ग्रेट करियर ओनली इफ यू आर जेन्युइन एंड वेरी पैशनेट अबाउट दैट, राइट।
Very
तभी
true.
आप अपना करियर बना सकते हैं। तो अब आप जब आप इंग्लिश में फोकस करते हैं और आप वट एवर यू वॉन्ट टू बिकम अ राइटर, स्क्रिप्ट राइटर, वट एवर इट माइट बी, राइट, और आप उसमें बहुत पैशनेटली काम करते हैं, यू वुड बी फार फार मोर सक्सेसफुल देन struggling in mathematics and struggling in commerce or science, whatever that you were forced to take. So this is where I completely insist that right from very early stage, instead of running after the marks and etc., first you should find out what is your passion, right, and then अपने आप को अपने साथ भी truthful रहो ना, right। Why should you actually cheat yourself? To cheat, you are not cheating the system, you are actually cheating yourself when you are doing this. So this is where I basically say is core for personal growth and development.
और एक झूठ को छुपाने के लिए फिर 100 झूठ बोलने पड़ते हैं, तो आप
Absolutely, बोलने
देन
पड़ते
यू नीड टू, यू आर ट्रैप्ड इनटू योर वीसीएस साइकिल, तो फिर आपको वो फॉलो करना पड़ता है। ट्रू।
फिर वो फॉलो, अब इमेजिन आप अटक गए साइंस में और फिर लटक गए वहां पे जाके, जबकि यू वर सो पैशनेट अबाउट इंग्लिश और हिंदी, एनी लैंग्वेज फॉर दैट मैटर, हिंदी के लिए पैशनेट हो। और आप ये देखो कि आज की डेट में आप बॉलीवुड में ही देखो, मैंने खुद वो ट्रांजिशन देखा है कि जहां पर जब शुरुआत में जब हम लोग जी टीवी में थे, और उस समय जब हमारे पास एक प्रोड्यूसर आता था और उसके साथ एक स्क्रिप्ट राइटर आता था, तो स्क्रिप्ट राइटर जो है ना वो बेचारा बाहर बैठा रहता था, और सिर्फ प्रोड्यूसर और डायरेक्टर आके हमारे साथ अंदर मीटिंग करते थे कि हमारा ये कॉन्सेप्ट है, वो कॉन्सेप्ट है, और स्क्रिप्ट राइटर बेचारा बाहर बैठा रहता था, वो उसको पता भी नहीं चलता था कि वो कौन स्क्रिप्ट राइटर है, क्या कितना पैसा दे रहे हैं उसको। ही वॉज द लीस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट। बट आज की डेट में द स्क्रिप्ट राइटर का जो है वो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट रोल हो गया। अगर स्क्रिप्ट अच्छी नहीं है तो पक्का है कि वो फेल होगी, स्टोरी अच्छी नहीं है, स्क्रिप्ट अच्छी नहीं है, तो डायरेक्टर भी कुछ नहीं कर सकता, एक्टर भी कुछ नहीं कर सकता। और आज की डेट में स्क्रिप्ट राइटर जो अच्छे वाले स्क्रिप्ट राइटर हैं, passionate, doing great work, you just see the amount of demand they have and the kind of success that they see, and etc. So every field has a great opportunity as long as you are genuine and you are a genius in that.
Very true, very true. So, uh, can you share some success stories or testimonials from individuals जिनको आपकी कम्युनिटी से और आपके सॉल्यूशन से बेनिफिट मिला है?
डेफिनेटली कर सकता हूँ। अब मैं आपको इसमें बताता हूँ फ्रॉम अ रिक्रूटमेंट पर्सपेक्टिव, राइट? एंड दैट इज एग्जैक्टली अप योर एली एंड एटसेट्रा। हम लोग अब क्या है कि नॉट ओनली इन एजुकेशन बट इवन इन रिक्रूटमेंट दिस कम्स इन वेरी हैंडी। Why this happens is because today, if you post any job, right, there are hundreds and hundreds of candidates who possibly, because jobs are becoming tougher and tougher, and it is becoming, the competition is becoming much much higher and etc. So कोई भी जॉब आप एडवर्टाइज करें एंड देन देयर आर हंड्रेड्स, इवन इफ इट इज विद स्मॉलेस्ट ऑफ स्टार्टअप, अगर आप एक बार जाके एडवर्टाइज कर दें तो आप ये तो एज्यूम कर लीजिए कि ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम आपको 100 तो मिनिमम सीवीज आ ही जाएंगे फॉर दैट एंड एटसेट्रा।
True.
अब जब आप वो सीवीज देखते हैं, नाउ इट बिकम्स एक्सट्रीमली डिफिकल्ट, एंड दैट इज व्हाट वी डू विद सर्टेन कंपनीज, where finding the right candidate becomes extremely difficult, right? The most interesting part is that it's not just about the skill set which you have in that particular subject, but also the personality which you have and whether the personality matches with the organization or no, right? And that is the kind of thing that we do with a lot of recruitment agencies now, that it is not just a skill test, but we also do a psychometric test, right? Which is online. अब पहले क्या होता था कि अगर आप ये ऑनलाइन साइकोमेट्रिक टेस्ट भी दो, तो स्किल वाले में तो ही वुड चीट इन एनी केस, राइट? वो चीटिंग तो करता ही था, इधर उधर से पूछ के किसी का असिस्टेंस लेकर और ये सब वो करके। बट साइकोमेट्रिक टेस्ट में भी वो चीटिंग करने लग गया था कि इसका व्हाट शुड बी द राइट आंसर फॉर समथिंग लाइक दिस, राइट? अब जब हमने अपना सिस्टम उसमें डिप्लॉय किया, राइट, वेयर वी स्टार्टेड इंश्योरिंग दैट, सी हम फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जो है सबसे पहले, our intention is not to eliminate candidates. Our intention is to just make them aware that it may be possible that you have the skill set also, but it may be possible that you are not the right fit for that job. और तब जो है आप इस जॉब में आके अगर आप रिक्रूट भी हो गए तो यू मे स्ट्रगल। सो प्लीज बी जेन्युइन व्हेन यू आर अटेम्प्टिंग दीज क्वेश्चंस। और वो जेन्युइन होने के लिए वी यूज्ड टू टेल देम दैट यू नो यू आर your please do not cheat, do not make any attempt and etc, do not take any assistance, but फिर भी बहुत लोग करते हैं, right? And that is where we basically try to do that, we try and tell them to avoid, we make them aware as much as possible. But the most important part which comes then is that we are able to provide that insight to the recruiter that this candidate is the one who took the examination on the test most genuinely. Ultimately you require genuine candidates, right?
True.
Genuine candidates whose personality matches with the organization. So that is where we have seen a lot of recruiters actually benefit and a lot of candidates also benefit, that हम लोगों ने genuinely exam दिया, genuine approach आया, और उसके वजह से the right hiring would happen, and that is where you will be far more happier in working in that organization.
ट्रू, ट्रू, ट्रू। अदरवाइज अभी चैट जीपीटी और ऐसे एआई इतने इजीली अवेलेबल हो गए कि लोगों को ऐसा लगता है कि मैं चलो इनका यूज कर लूं, दैट विल बी इजी फॉर मी। तो दे इवन दो दे नो द आंसर, तो भी उससे एक बार इंस्पिरेशन जिसको बोलते हैं आजकल की टाइम पे कि चलो थोड़ा सा इंस्पिरेशन ले लो, तो लोग
थोड़ा इंस्पायर हो जाता है।
हाँ, इंस्पायर हो जाते हैं, तो इंस्पायर होने के लिए भी यूज़ कर लेते हैं, इवन उनको पता होता है फिर भी। सो यू आर राइट कि उनको एक बार इन्फॉर्म कर दिया होगा कि ऐसा होने वाला है, तो दे विल बी अवेयर कि नहीं यूज़ करना है। ट्रू,
करेक्ट, करेक्ट। फिर भी बहुत लोग अटेम्प्ट करते हैं, उनको लगता है कि वो दे आर मच स्मार्टर, बट दैट इज इनफैक्ट, ये जो स्मार्ट लोग हैं ना, जो समझते हैं कि हम स्मार्टली वी कैन डू एनीथिंग, एंड इन लोगों की वजह से हमें बहुत ट्रेनिंग मिलती है, हमारे सिस्टम को, हमारे टेक्नोलॉजी को बहुत ट्रेनिंग
ट्रू,
मिलती है। सो वी आर
ट्रू,
थैंकफुल टू देम आल्सो फॉर मेकिंग
गुड,
दीज स्मार्ट अटेम्प्ट्स सो दैट वी बिकम स्मार्टर एंड स्मार्टर ऑलवेज।
वेरी ट्रू, वेरी ट्रू। So moving on to the next questions, what role do you believe uh, accountability, self-awareness, and personal responsibility play in achieving success and fulfillment? And also tell us about Shinkan AI, your startup.
Yeah, so again, like I was mentioning earlier, that अगर आप right from the very beginning, you have this approach कि मैं cheating नहीं करूँगा. अब आपने वो 12 फेल मूवी देखी होगी, आई होप, और आपके ऑडियंसेस ने देखी हो, एक्सेट्रा, जहाँ पे उसने ना दो मैसेज ही दिए थे कि एक तो ट्राई ट्राई अगेन, ओके, एंड दूसरा वाज कि जस्ट डोंट चीट. बिकॉज लाइक आई वाज सेइंग अर्लियर कि आप सिस्टम को नहीं चीट कर रहे होते, आप अपने आप को चीट करते हो. एंड दैट इज वेयर इट ब्रिंग्स इन द बिग डिफरेंस, दैट इज वेयर इट इज ऑल अबाउट सेल्फ अकाउंटेबिलिटी, सेल्फ अवेयरनेस, मोर देन एनीथिंग एल्स, राइट? दैट आप जस्ट बी ट्रू टू योर सेल्फ. बिकॉज अगर आप ट्रू रहोगे ना, तो आपको अल्टीमेटली जो भी आप जाके करोगे, यू विल डू व्हाट यू रियली वांट टू डू रादर देन व्हाट द सोसाइटी feels that you should be doing. एंड जिस समय आप सोसाइटी के प्रेशर में आके यू स्टार्ट डूइंग थिंग्स कि अरे आपके तो चीटिंग से मैथ्स में बहुत अच्छे मार्क्स आ गए, रिपीटिंग द सेम एग्जांपल वंस अगेन, that you will go into a tenure where ultimately you will have a very very unsatisfactory professional working life, and that is what we don't want. Because the only reason why I'm saying this is every field today, कोई भी आप सब्जेक्ट ले लें, कोई भी आप टॉपिक ले लें, हर चीज में there is success possible, there is self satisfaction which is possible. So all of that is possible as long as you are, like I repeatedly say, just be genuine to yourself, and that is the core responsibility that you have to yourself. और ट्राई कीप ट्राइंग. आप एक बार फेल हो गए, दो बार फेल हो गए, लेकिन द थिंग इज कि आप सिर्फ वो करो जो आप करना चाहते हो. दैट इज द ओनली थिंग दैट आई रियली वुड लाइक टू टेल एवरीवन.
Great, great. And also tell us something more about
Ah,
your
yeah.
startup.
So yes, yes. So Shinkan was born in 2021, like I told you, and the whole vision was all about, that we wanted to create this robust platform where we ensure credibility and security of every kind of assessment, examination, interview, whatever that it could be. So today the platform actually is that you can actually conduct any form of online examination on that. You can actually conduct a MCQ, a written examination, even an audio video interview can be conducted on that. And while the candidate is taking an MCQ test or a written test, paper and pencil test, or even an audio video sort of a question answer, we can actually evaluate that whether he was indulging into any sort of malpractice, right? And like I told you earlier, that the technology is so robust that we are not just dependent on his physical movements. We actually observe literally like 45 plus parameters which get
Wow.
analyzed to actually come up to and we can actually showcase that to any exam administrator, that this is the reason why we believe that this guy was trying to do some hanky panky there, and etc.
Wow.
So the Shinkan AI, our belief is that going forward, whether it is a recruiter, whether it is an exam administrator, institute, educational institute, or whosoever, right? Unfortunately, it's something that I would like to tell you. A whole bunch of educational institutes, a whole bunch of skill online skilling providers and etc. Skill courses providers and etc. Do not give too much weightage to genuineness and in examinations or security or credibility in examination, that there should be no malpractice. Today, they consider that as a very, very good to have, but not necessary to have. But I can tell that in not too far away a future, all of this will become the most important factor, because agar aapke examinations are not robust, then your candidates which come out of your institute will not be taken up by the industry. So through your platform, I would like to actually convey to every recruiter, every HR person, every that if there are institutes who are not following certain protocols and etc., you will never be able to find the right candidates from those institutes. With this, today there are a lot of skilling courses providers. The HR professionals candidates, everybody should actually look for those online courses, whether it is for skilling or whatever, and etc., which have very genuine assessments and credible assessments, right? And that is when the certification makes sense. अब मैं आपको एक एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ, राइट? अगर आप आईआईटी का एग्जाम लो, वेरी वेरी रेवर्ड एग्जामिनेशन होता है, राइट? कोई जब आईआईटी क्रैक कर लेता है तो आप सोचते हो कि यार एकदम ये तो बहुत ही इंटेलिजेंट है एंड ही इज डन रियली वेल फॉर हिमसेल्फ एटसेट्रा। अब आईआईटी का एग्जाम क्यों है? वो दो रीजन है। पहला ये कि वो बहुत टफ है, राइट? एंड यू हैव टू बी रियली रियली knowledgeable, intelligent and etc. to crack and get a good ranking in an IIT exam. The other is that it is a very very secure examination, extremely secure, right? आप तो वो आप कोई भी एग्जामिनेशन ले लो विच यू रिस्पेक्ट अ लॉट, उसकी रिस्पेक्ट कम्स फ्रॉम बोथ कंटेंट एज वेल एज द क्रेडिबिलिटी एंड सिक्योरिटी ऑफ दैट एग्जाम, चाहे वो यूपीएससी हो, चाहे वो नीट हो, चाहे वो आईआईटी हो, चाहे वो आईएम्स का कैट हो, राइट? कोई भी एग्जामिनेशन हो, उसकी क्रेडिबिलिटी उसके सिक्योरिटी से आती है। तो अगर और आप ये देखो कि अगर एक एग्जामिनेशन पार कर लिया उसने, आईआईटी क्लियर कर लिया और वो आईआईटी चला गया, तो उसकी बात कोई नहीं पूछता है कि अरे वो आईआईटी के ड्यूरिंग उसकी क्या रैंकिंग थी। जस्ट द फैक्ट दैट ही वाज एबल टू क्रैक आईआईटी एग्जाम। तो ये एग्जामिनेशन का इतना बड़ा महत्व है, इतना बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंस है कि लेकिन उसकी सिक्योरिटी और क्रेडिबिलिटी का, लाइक आई सेड, आर द टू कोर पिलर्स, द कंटेंट ऑफ द
True.
एग्जामिनेशन एंड द सिक्योरिटी एंड क्रेडिबिलिटी। So you have to, every institute, every educational institute, every skilling services provider has to actually focus on that मेरे कोर्स के बाद मैं ऐसे assessment रखूं which are highly secure and credible. So that is what Shinkan AI actually focuses on, provides a full technology platform to actually provide something like that.
Well said, and good example to connect with. So the next question is, how do you think individuals can balance their personal and professional goals, and what advice would you give for maintaining a healthy work-life balance, which is very tough nowadays, and especially in work from home, there is no difference of environment, so वो बैलेंस करना और डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है. सो व्हाट इज योर एडवाइस
Yes,
फॉर आवर
yes.
ऑडियंस?
मैंने ना बहुत क्लियरली दो फेजेस देखे हैं, राइट? एक फेज था विच इज the guys who are in their, let's say, late 30s and beyond, and etc., who joined their professional career almost like 15 years back and 20 years back, and etc. They will dedicate their entire life to their work, कि खूब मेहनत करो, सारा टाइम काम करो, 70 आवर्स, 100 आवर्स अ वीक सॉर्ट ऑफ अ काम करना चाहिए, ये करना चाहिए, वो करना चाहिए। एंड टुडे ऑल्सो देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ कंट्रोवर्सी विच इज गोइंग ऑन, यू नो इट, राइट?
या ट्रू
देयर
ट्रू.
इज अ लॉट ऑफ कंट्रोवर्सी विच इज गोइंग ऑन कि कोई बोलता है 100 आवर्स अ वीक, 70 आवर्स अ वीक, इतना काम करो, मेहनत करो, ये करो, वो करो, तभी आपका वो होता है। और फिर उसके बाद एक फेज आया विच इज आई हैव स्टार्टेड सीइंग कि जब से ऑनलाइन शुरू हुआ, राइट, एंड वर्क फ्रॉम होम कॉन्सेप्ट शुरू हुआ, आई हैव सीन अ लॉट ऑफ यंगस्टर्स एक्चुअली नाउ सेइंग कि मैं वर्क फ्रॉम होम ही करूंगा, मैं ऑफिस नहीं जाऊंगा क्योंकि मैं बहुत थक जाता हूँ, राइट? आई एम बर्निंग आउट। तो ये मैंने फेज बहुत ज्यादा सुनना शुरू कर दिया है, एटसेट्रा। सो एक्चुअली द रियलिटी लाइज समवेयर इन बिटवीन, राइट? आई एम नॉट अ बिलीवर ऑफ कि आपको जो है ना 100 आवर्स, 70 आवर्स अ वीक डेडिकेट करना चाहिए काम के लिए, पूरी लाइफ अपनी पर्सनल लाइफ को रखो साइड में एंड इनिशियली जस्ट फोकस ऑन योर करियर और वट एवर। येस, करियर इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट वेन यू आर जस्ट स्टार्टिंग ऑफ, and it is the most important thing which you have to focus on, build on, because that is the foundation. But does that mean that you have to completely give away your personal life? That is something that I never did. And fortunately, I was I used to enjoy both sides of life, right? My working life, working with these entrepreneurs. But simultaneously, I had my own personal life as well because I enjoy. अगर मैं कमा रहा हूँ तो enjoy भी तो करना है ना मेरे को, वरना
ट्रू,
क्या
वेरी
फायदा
ट्रू.
कमाने का?
क्या
कमाना जो
बोला?
है is not necessarily for कि you have to save for your old age and etc. and save for your children. आज के दिन में बड़ा क्लियर हो गया। पहले होता था कि तुम इतना कमाओ कि तुम्हारे बच्चों को कमाने की जरूरत ना पड़े, राइट? लेकिन वो बहुत ही गलत गलत धारणा है। बिकॉज बच्चे अपना कमाएंगे, वो अपना देखेंगे, और आप जो है सिर्फ आप अपने लिए कमाओ, अपने लिए कमा के रखो, और जितना आपको चाहिए उतना खाओ। लेकिन पर्सनल लाइफ अगर आपने नहीं जी, तो आप ना जब आप 50 साल के हो जाओगे, लाइक मी, 55 years old एंड एक्सेट्रा, एंड व्हेन यू लुक बैक एट योर 20s 30s एंड 40s, एंड इफ यू फील कि यार वो तो मैंने अपनी पूरी लाइफ गंवा दी सिर्फ काम करने में, और मैंने बाकी कुछ नहीं किया, और आई मिस्ड आउट ऑन सर्टेन थिंग्स इन माई पर्सनल लाइफ, why have regrets? सो आई हैव अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बैलेंस ऑफ बोथ। तो जो लोग कहते हैं कि मैं बर्नआउट हो गया, उनको मैं बोलूंगा कि मेहनत करने से कभी मत अ, पीछे हटना। और जो लोग कहते हैं कि 70 आवर्स 100 आवर्स ये सब करना है, तो टू देम ऑल्सो आई वुड से कि अगर आपने पर्सनल लाइफ नहीं जी ना, तो ये सब का कोई फायदा नहीं होगा।
ट्रू।
सो आई हैव अ मैसेज फॉर बोथ साइड्स ऑफ द कॉइन।
जिंदगी ना मिलेगी दोबारा, वो वाला।
जिंदगी ना, दोबारा,
ट्रू। सो
एब्सोल्युटली।
यू विल, वो वो मूवी में आता है ना कि ऋतिक रोशन इज अटेंडिंग वन मीटिंग ऑन द रोड साइड, तो बैलेंस, यू नीड टू बैलेंस इट आउट। अगर वो
यस।
नहीं करोगे तो क्या मतलब है। ट्रू।
और कई लोग जैसे मैं आपका इसी फिल्म से डायलॉग बोलता हूँ जहाँ पे ऋतिक रोशन ने बोला था कि 40 तक नोट छापो, उसके बाद फिर रिटायर कर जाओ, राइट? मैं तो ये बता रहा हूँ कि आज की डेट में look at your mental capability. Even I have seen up to 70-year-old, 75-year-old who are mentally very very capable. Physically they are very active, right? तो अगर आप 40 साल के बाद रिटायर करने की सोच रहे हो, तो आप ये, और आज की डेट में लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी बढ़ गई है,
ट्रू।
राइट? तो आप ये सोचो कि आप अगले 35-40 साल क्या करोगे इफ यू डू नॉट इंटेंड वर्किंग, राइट? तो
ट्रू।
आप तो बोर हो जाओगे, कितना दुनिया घूम लोगे? 5 साल, 6 साल, 10 साल, 15 साल आप दुनिया घूमते रहोगे, अल्टीमेटली उससे भी बोर हो जाओगे। बिकॉज
ट्रू।
ऑलवेज यू रिक्वायर अ पर्पज इन लाइफ, समथिंग दैट शुड कंटिन्यू टू ग्रो एंड एक्सेट्रा। तो ये भी बिल्कुल गलत धारणा कि 40 तक नोट छापो फिर उसके बाद
No,
रिटायर कर जाओ।
we have so many living examples who are actively working in their profession after even their 80s, you know, Amitabh
यस,
Bachchan se leke, Warren
एब्सोल्युटली,
Buffett se leke, you have,
एब्सोल्युटली।
you know, so many examples. Narendra Modi, there are so many
यस,
examples, they are
सो मेनी
working, you know.
एग्जांपल्स दैट आप जो है ना काम से रिटायर कर रहे हो या जिंदगी से रिटायर कर रहे हो, राइट?
True,
सो
true.
सो दैट इज द होल थिंग दैट यू हैव
So
टू कीप इन माइंड।
you should balance and you should enjoy both the
एब्सोल्युटली,
aspects. But
दैट्स
I
राइट,
don't believe I don't believe in the funda of retirement. Honestly, I'm
करेक्ट,
with you only. मेरी सोच भी ऐसी
एब्सोल्युटली,
है कि you
करेक्ट।
should work. आपको बैलेंस करना है कि कैसे, क्या कम करना है, क्या ज्यादा करना है, that you need to
और
balance it
आप
out.
ये देखो, जैसे आपने कुछ जो अभी एग्जांपल्स बताए वॉरेन बफेट के, मोदी जी के, अमिताभ बच्चन के, that when they are working at this age, right, they remain very healthy and young because they
True.
continue to work, right? जिस दिन अगर आप काम करना छोड़ते हो, आप इनफैक्ट देखो, आप you will observe that post retirement, a lot of people suddenly don't know what to do, and suddenly they withdraw from life also. But
True.
when they continue to work, they have a little zest in them, zest for life, living life full and etc. So इसलिए
Very
काम
true.
करते रहो, मेहनत करते रहो, और मेहनत से पीछे मत हटो, बट अपने पर्सनल लाइफ को दांव पे मत लगाओ जस्ट फॉर योर प्रोफेशनल लाइफ।
Like the Atal Bihari Vajpayee said, "रुके ना हम, झुके ना हम," वो वाला. That should be the attitude. That should be the
Yes,
attitude.
yes, absolutely.
So so moving on, in what ways can AI driven hiring systems ensure fairness and equality in recruitments? Because as you rightly said, ki, recruitment has now become a very tough task. So how AI can help in that?
So, like I said, that recruitment has become very, very large these days, right? Gone are the days जब आपके पास कम सीवीज आते थे, और आप जो है उनको फिर इंटरव्यू के लिए बुलाते थे। आप पहले सीवीज में से छांटते थे कि हु इज देयर, एंड फिर आप इंटरव्यू के लिए बुलाते थे। आज की डेट में a whole lot of things have actually turned online, where you have to conduct those online interviews also and whatever, which is where we actually basically say that there are multiple phases to recruitment. And I will first talk about from a recruiter perspective, and then I will talk about from the candidate perspective. Okay. Now, from a recruiter perspective, if there are so many candidates who are applying to you, what is your biggest objective? That अगर 100 लोगों ने आपको apply किया है, you want the best candidate out of those 100 to come and join your organization. और best किस तरह से define करते हैं? Like I said earlier, both from your skill perspective as well as the right attitude for your organization. Both these perspectives, right? अब आप दोनों चीज़ों के लिए देर इज यू कैन एक्चुअली डेवलप अ सॉर्ट ऑफ अ लिटिल असेसमेंट that whether this, and like I always say that this is not about rejection, but this is about selecting out of the 100 candidates. So if you are rejecting somebody, you are not saying that he is incapable or not skilled, but many a times he may not be the best fit. So, which means that you actually have to assess him on both on his skill set as well as his aptitude and attitude, right? दोनों के लिए you can actually conduct this examination, which is an online examination. But like I mentioned earlier, that अगर आप AI को use करेंगे like Shinkan AI and etc. and use the platform, you are ensured that you can actually provide any sort of examination, any format of examination, etc. And you will be assured that वो candidate ने जो है वो उसको बिल्कुल ही credible और secure way में किया है. तो यू आर एश्योर्ड कि अगर ये कैंडिडेट ने अच्छा परफॉर्म किया है तो ये जेन्युइनली इसने अच्छा परफॉर्म किया है एंड दिस इज द राइट कैंडिडेट एंड देन यू कैन कंटिन्यू विद योर इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस यू कैन कंटिन्यू विद योर फिजिकल इंटरेक्शन और व्हाटएवर दैट यू वांट टू डू एंड दैट इज हाउ यू कैन एक्चुअली save a lot of time, money, and effort, right? By not going through so many candidates, yet get the best out of the 100 candidates that you wanted to recruit, right? So it's a big, big advantage for all the recruiters that one, you get the best candidate and you save a lot of money and time as well. Now coming from the candidate perspective, candidate के perspective से the worst thing which can happen to a candidate is that I'm a genuine candidate, I would have been the best for something like this, but somebody else cheated during the assessment process and he got recruited because of that, right? That is the biggest flaw in the system, and this actually is the most undeserving thing for a genuine candidate. And that is why we are specifically talking about that अगर genuine candidate है तो उसके लिए he should be able to trust the system, trust the platform कि अगर मैं select हुआ तो because I was genuine, और अगर मैं select नहीं हुआ तो there was some other more genuine candidate than me. अगर आपको पता चलता है कि किसी ने चीटिंग करके और वो पास हो गया और उसको जॉब मिल गई, नथिंग कुड बी मोर डिसअपॉइंटिंग फॉर यू इन लाइफ, बिकॉज आप इतनी
True.
मेहनत करते हो, पढ़ते हो, सब कुछ कोशिश करते हो, अपने स्किल सेट्स डेवलप करते हो, बट किसी ने गलत तरीका एम्प्लॉय करके ही टुक अवे दैट अपॉर्चुनिटी फ्रॉम यू, nothing could be more disappointing than that in life. So I would also recommend to candidates also that please be genuine when you take the examination. But there are systems now available to actually, which is Shinkan AI, which can really ensure something like that.
Well answered. And so the next question is, what lessons have you learned from using AI to transform traditional hiring process?
So one of the biggest factor is actually that now the traditional hiring factor, like I mentioned earlier, कि बहुत होता था कि आप पहले अपना सीवी भेजते थे, अगर आपका सीवी पसंद आता था तो फिर वो आपको अपने, if you are not from that city, then they would call you to come to that city and etc. and take the interview, be part of the interview and etc. But AI and technology has actually enabled that a candidate who are sitting and living in very far off cities also, you do not have to call them right away, right? You do not have to do. You can conduct the entire process while you are, both of you are two very far off cities, right? That, like I said, opens up the opportunity for the hiring professional, the person who is looking at hiring the right candidate, and also for the candidates, because it gives an opportunity कि आप किसी भी शहर में हो, कहीं पर भी हो, and you can participate in that recruitment process. So that is a big difference which has been brought in by technology, which is specifically been brought in by AI, which can actually completely transform how it used to be done earlier.
true. It has opened the borders and uh, it लोगों तक पहुंचने की जो लिमिट्स है वो काफी बढ़
वो
गई है
मिटा
इससे,
दिए, वो पूरी
मिटा
पूरी
दी।
मिटा दिए कि नाउ फिजिकल डिस्टेंस इज नो लॉन्गर अ कंसर्न.
True, 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 true. Very true. Great. So, what is your vision for the future of your community, and how can our listeners get involved and be part of this movement?
So, my biggest movement is, about being genuine. And if you're a genius, then, being genuine is the most important. And making a right attempt and ensuring. So, all of this starts from you yourself. आपके अपने पास से शुरू होता है ये कि यार मैं अगर मेरे को अपनी लाइफ को सक्सेसफुल बनाना है तो मैं चीटिंग नहीं करूंगा, राइट? बिकॉज दैट विल एक्चुअली टेल मी व्हाट आर ट्रूली टेल मी व्हाट आर माय स्ट्रेंथ्स एंड वीकनेसेस, राइट? वरना मेरी जो स्ट्रेंथ है ना वो एक वीकनेस में छुप जाती है कहीं जाकर, और वो मेरी स्ट्रेंथ कभी बाहर नहीं आ पाती क्योंकि मैं चीटिंग करके अपने वीकनेस को मैंने छुपा लिया, तो वो मेरी एक्चुअल स्ट्रेंथ जो है इज नेवर एबल टू कम आउट. So I would always say that don't be genuine to anybody else, be genuine and truthful to yourself. Right? That is one part, that it starts from you. The second is wherever, whichever community that you are in, right? There you have to start talking about that आप कहीं पे भी रिक्रूटमेंट के लिए जाते हो, आप कहीं पे भी कोई स्किलिंग का कोर्स करते हो, कहीं भी किसी एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूट में जाते हो, if you see cheating happening and the authorities not focusing on something like that and malpractices being there and authorities not focusing on that, you have to raise your voice, right? That this is something which is not acceptable, and the more people who raise their voice, right, the bigger this message and this vision is going to be, that how to control cheating. Because I will tell you what, cheating is the biggest drawback to the development of the country also. बिकॉज अगर आप ये सोचो कि चीटिंग करके एक गलत कैंडिडेट बिकम्स अ डॉक्टर इन द गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल टुमारो, राइट, becomes an IAS officer tomorrow, becomes a very senior officer or senior engineer somewhere, and etc. How will the country progress? Will you ever go to a doctor if you have a little doubt कि ये कभी पता नहीं किस तरीके से चीटिंग करके ये डॉक्टर बन गया? Will you ever trust that guy? You will not,
Never.
right? So which means that that person is really not contributing to the society, because he through cheating the system he became a doctor and he's not a good doctor, and you would never trust your life with that person. तो
Very true.
इसलिए it will also not be a biggest deterrent to the growth of the nation also. अगर हमें developed nation बनना है, then cheating is something that we have to completely eliminate from the system, so that right candidates are in the right position, they are in the right jobs, they are doing the right thing, because they will be doing it passionately and they will be doing it in the right way, and then the country and the economy can really benefit from something like this. So this entire community, I would like that everybody should raise a lot of voices now about anti-cheating. That cheating is the worst thing. वो एक दीमक है जो अपने देश को खा रहा है right now.
Very true. Well said, and that was the good example to end the session with. So, what will be your final words, your concluding notes, your success mantra, one final advice for our audience?
My final advice would again be something similar कि आप ना सिर्फ वो जो बोलते हैं ना कि एक तो कई बार लोग जब थोड़े जेन्युइन होते हैं और कहते हैं चलो मैं चीटिंग नहीं करता हूँ, और वो फेल हो जाते हैं, राइट? फिर उनको डाउट होता है कि यार ये जेन्युइन बनने को तो बोल दिया और बोला कि चीटिंग मत करो और ये मत करो और वो मत करो, और मैं सीधा साधा रह गया और देखो वो तो चीटिंग करके आगे बढ़ गया. देन यू डाउट द सिस्टम, डाउट दिस एंटायर मैसेज कि ये तो गलत मैसेज था यार, मैं भी चीटिंग कर लेता तो आज कहाँ तक कहाँ का कहाँ पहुंच गया होता. बट मैं सिर्फ एक चीज बताना चाहता हूँ, जो आदमी चीटिंग करके और कहीं पे चला गया है ना, वो आपको गारंटी करके बता सकता हूँ कि वो एक तो लाइफ में चलो चीटिंग करके दूसरों को लगता है कि वो सक्सेसफुल हो गया, बट वो अपने लाइफ में ना मोस्ट डिसअपॉइंटेड आदमी होगा, मोस्ट
Very true.
अनसेटिस्फाइड आदमी होगा, मोस्ट सैड आदमी होगा, तो आप ना उसका जो सोशल मीडिया का पोस्ट देख के ये मत सोचिए कि वो उसमें सक्सेसफुल हो गया और ये हो गया वो हो गया। आप अगर एक बार फेल करते हैं तो आई वुड ऑलवेज से कि जेन्युइननेस अपने कभी मत छोड़िएगा। यू कीप ट्राइंग अगेन एंड अगेन एंड अगेन, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली आई एम टेलिंग यू, विद अ जेन्युइन पैशनेट एफर्ट यू विल अल्टीमेटली बी सक्सेसफुल। तो
True,
अपने
very
पैशन
true,
को मत छोड़िए और अपने जेन्युइननेस को मत छोड़िए।
very
दीज आर
true.
माई फाइनल वर्ड्स।
वेरी ट्रू, आपने बिल्कुल सही बताया। कहीं न कहीं वो डर रहता है कि किसी को पता चल गया, कुछ हो गया, तो वो एक डर रहता ही रहता है। सो वेल, वेरी
करेक्ट।
ट्रू, एंड दैट्स द गोल्डन एडवाइस फॉर एवरीवन वाचिंग दिस session. And this was amazing. Uh, Abhijit, we have got to know so many things from you. And audience, once again, requesting you, you can join, you can follow our expert of the day, and you can definitely connect with him. He'll be happy to help you with the best of his knowledge and expertise. So do connect with him, DM him, and Abhijit would love to see you again on our expert talk show with some relevant industry exposure and with some industry topics. So thank you so much, and hope to see you soon.
No, thank you so much, Vipul. I mean, like I mentioned earlier itself, it is because of people like you and the kind of platform that you have created through this podcast that we are able to convey, project what we really are going after, and etc. And we only hope that this mission and this vision can actually grow much wider, bigger, is adopted by more and more people. And thank you so much for providing a platform like that.
It's my pleasure, and thank you so much once again, and see you soon. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely, Vipul. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Yes, so audience, I'm sure you would have got the best from today's session. और बस ऐसे ही जुड़े रहिए हमसे. Follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on YouTube, subscribe our YouTube channel, and do connect with us if you're looking for any help, any guidance, any support. We'll be happy to help you anytime. As shown here, this session is powered by Post Resume, so do connect with us if you're looking for the best talent solutions for your organization. Do check the website, follow us, connect with us, and we'll be happy to help you. With that note, see you next week. Till then, stay blessed, take care.